Hey, what's happening, everybody? Time for another episode of Thrifty Business. A very special daytime episode of Thrifty Business, because with me all the way from across the pond in the UK, Car Boot Chris. How are you, Chris?
Hey, Jason. Thanks for having me on. This is going to be good.
Thanks for being on. Now, obviously, the time change difference. It is 9 p.m. to Chris. So if we would have waited another 4 hours, that would be just not fair to Chris.
Oh, God, yeah. No way. Annabelle would not come on at that time, I can tell you now.
Yeah, I figured we'd do a daytime because Car Boot Chris is my co-host. And then for our guest today, it is his wife, Annabelle. Now, usually I do the segment, let's see our guest and introduce them. But Chris and Annabelle have to do a little switching around with chairs. So what we're going to do is we're going to do that intro when Annabelle comes on. But I will say this part. I'll give everyone a little thinking quiz. So here's the rum. I mean, this was an easy one for me. Edward England Gunpowder Rum. Hello, my friends are from the UK. Ta-da, England. Okay, but this is the mug I have matched up to Annabelle.
Oh.
And so the question is, why? There are some words on the mug. They have no bearing on this, so don't worry about the words. But why does this mug match up to Annabelle? So that'll be the answer I'll give when Annabelle gets here. So there you go.
No idea.
A little thinker tonight. So Chris, thanks for coming on. Thanks for doing this. Chris and I have been friends for a little while now, and we got to the four of us got to spend time together in person. It's always nice when you can meet your online friends for the first time.
Yeah.
And we hung out in Atlanta and did some thrifting and some tiki bar drinking and had a good time. And I look forward to doing that again, hopefully in the near future.
And Vegas too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. How can you forget about that one?
You know, my brain is like, ah. So thank you all for who tuned in early. I know a lot of you missed the note, and you're going to be tuning in today going, where the hell's the show? Or why is it done already? So if you watch after the fact, leave a note down below that you watch after the fact. And thank you all for watching, no matter when you watch. All right, let's get right into it, shall we? And now it's time for our scores of the week. These are the items that you should be on the lookout for when you're out thrifting. Okay, so was this the pair of rollerblades that you just bought and it had a broken strap?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, cool. See, I watch your shows. I watch.
Yeah, well done. Yeah, you passed.
So what'd you pay? Blah, 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 all that good stuff.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, right. I paid £5 for these at a boot sale. I actually there was another reseller there who knows me, watches the channel and stuff, and he nearly got these before me. He saw them, knew they were going to be worth something, but went off to do some research. And when he did that, I didn't see him, by the way. I wasn't sneaky about it. I just went in there, saw them. For £5, these are like professional rollerblades, and there are damage to them, but at the end of the day, it's not that bad. And they actually sold for 80 UK pounds, which is about $100 maybe.
I was going to say, when you said you bought it for £5, that's for those Americans watching, that is $6.68 as of today.
Right. So yeah, £80 is probably about $100. So it's pretty good. Yeah, and there's quite a lot of damage. These are pretty worn. These are very well worn.
And they were a quick sale because that video was only from 2 weeks ago, a week ago,
maybe a bit longer than that. But yeah, these are professional, so these are decent ones. If these have been like immaculate, then probably like £150, £200.
Wow. I have not seen rollerblades in forever. Talk about everything you have is like old school. Okay, now we got a camcorder.
Yeah. Well, these sell really well in the UK, camcorders. Don't ask me why people are buying these. I ain't got a clue. Maybe they've got old tapes they want to. I don't know. I really don't understand why people are buying these. But this sold This sold for £62, so that's about $75. And it cost me, I think it was £5 or £6 at a boot sale. So pretty good profit on it. Good feedback, the lot. So can't really argue with that. But camcorders always worth picking up. The only problem is they do have a tendency not to work. So even spares and repairs, even at £5, probably spares and repairs would be about £30. So still profit.
Love it. Now, I got to imagine the person who bought this is running some illegal drug scheme or something.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, money counter. I've sold probably about 3 of these. They always fetch good money. And actually, this is a weird one. It cost me £5. Like everything's £5 today. And I sold it once, almost like immediately. And the guy returned it saying it didn't work. Now, I knew it worked because I tested it. I put a big wedge of cash that I earned just in one day in the machine and tested it, and it worked. But it got returned. So I checked it out again when it come back, and it was fine. So it was obviously just a dodgy return, maybe. So I relisted it. It sold immediately for £55, I think, on an offer. I wish it would show on there what the offer was.
I know. That's eBay's stupid idea.
Yeah. I've got it written down, actually. Yes, £55.
You know, what's crazy is you sold 3 of these. I've never seen this once anywhere like thrifting.
Really?
I'm just...
Yeah, I mean, I've sold 3.
Is that an English thing? I don't know.
They always go for cheap money. The only thing you've got to watch, like in Europe, is because a lot of, and certainly in the UK, some other European countries as well, they've a lot of changing their currency from normal notes to plastic notes. And in the UK, we've got like this polymer plastic notes now, and some of the machines won't count those plastic notes. That doesn't mean it's not worth picking up. But
right, yeah.
Sometimes,
drug dealers will use old money too, so.
Yeah.
I love the hand in this one.
Well, I know you don't like hands in photos, but this was a handheld toy. So
I kind of get it, though. Yeah, because when you look at the picture where it's just sitting there, I get it. Yeah.
Yeah. It's you use your hand. It's got a trigger thing on it. But I didn't have a clue what this was. I bought it in a big job lot of toys. I had like backroom access at a charity shop. And she just gave me this big lot of toys. It cost me next to nothing. It's probably like 20p or 30p or something, like 50 cents or something like that. And it's sold on an offer for £39. You see, that one doesn't even say offer.
I know. So it's gotten worse lately, I've noticed.
Yeah, it went for £39. I didn't even know what it was. Actually, it's missing a figure that should sit on its back like a little man. If that man had been with this, I probably could have got £80 or £90 for that little toy.
That's crazy. Yeah, I wouldn't even look twice at that. All right, do you know who Wolfman Jack was?
No.
So he was a personality. He hosted horror, like he was a DJ and he hosted like horror movies and stuff. And I just bought a load of ephemera, and this was in there. And I probably paid like a nickel a piece or a dime a piece. And I'm like, will anyone care or no? And it sold in like 4 days for $24. So I was like, yay, that was nice and easy. Nice. So that was my little fun one. I did sell this letterbox version of Terminator 2 on VHS for $35. I have a whole 75 cents invested in it.
Is that one from your big lot of VHS?
Yep. We've gotten some up, and then we got sidetracked on other things. So I'm still trying to get another assistant in here. Once I do that, it'll definitely get things moving. All right, here's one of my best sales of the week. These Kiss posters, which are actually a puzzle that go together. I'll make the picture bigger. When Kiss released, there was a time in the early years of Kiss that they each released a solo album. So it was a Peter Chris album and it was a Paul Stanley album. And then I think in the first releases were these posters that go together like a puzzle. And again, I found these in a load of ephemera. I've had it for 10 years. And I'm like, I'll get around to listen it. I get around to listening it. It sold in 2 days for $160. I think I had $1 invested in these posters.
Wow.
So clean off your desks, get your shit listed. $160 has been just sitting around collecting dust for about 10 years. So there you go. And they were in good shape.
Wow.
You know, it helped they were in good shape. But yeah, that went out today. That's not even my best. How about $300 pants? Yes. Burberry pants. I've had them up since August. So not that long. Couple months. Someone wanted these pants for $300. So yeah, it's been a good week.
I really wanted them.
Oh yeah. Look, if they were my size, I would have kept them, but I'm definitely not a 38 regular because there are some badass plaid right there. Debbie's like, what? All right. But that's not all we sell. That's not all our scores of the week. And now it's time for our CD and cassette scores of the week. And as always, we start with flipping cassettes. I finally had one good cassette sale. I haven't had a good one in quite a while. Third Eye Blind cassette. I paid $6 and I sold it for $19 plus shipping on Discogs. So that was a pretty decent cassette sale. Sometimes, nope, wrong one. I've been begging for you to sell media, and boom, look at you show up with a record sale.
I thought, perfect. When Debbie sent me that email saying, have you sold any vinyls or CDs recently? I thought, yes, I have. Now, whether I should be proud of it or not, I'm not sure. It's Gary Glitter. I mean, the man's not a nice man.
No, he isn't.
Anyway, it cost me £1. I bought it because it was a funny shape. That was as simple as that. I had no knowledge on it. It was £1 and it sold for 10. I was in two minds whether to sell it, you know, or not because of the person that it is. It's a bit like Rolf Harris or something, you know. It's like, would you sell something from Rolf Harris? Do you know who Rolf Harris is?
No, but a good comparison over here would be Bill Cosby.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that kind of thing. So yeah, there is a line. We all have our line. But I'm good. I'm glad to see you getting into some media. So yay.
Yeah.
Okay, I wanted to share this one. Definitely not my biggest record sale or my best ever or anything like that. But if you've never listened to Brian Eno, especially this album, Here Come the Warm Jets, a customer asked me specifically how many pops and clicks were in the record. And really the only way to answer that and hopefully get the sale is to pop it on and listen to it. So I have a record player right behind me. So I'm just sitting here working one night. This is horrible. This is maybe one of the worst records I've ever listened to in my life. There's a moment in a song where it seems like all the people playing instruments are playing different songs. And there's some singing, which it ain't singing. And so I explained exactly where the pops and clicks were, and he bought it that instant. So I gave him the exact, for the customer, for the sale, I listened to it. Plus, I was working, no biggie. And I got the sale. So, when a customer asks a question about the condition, if you can answer it in detail, do that. And now we go from flipping cassettes to flipping CDs. All right, Chris, I find this CD once every single Christmas, and I sell it once every single Christmas. The band is called Bathtub Shitter. And it is grindcore, which is like heavier than heavy metal.
Well, oh no.
And what's unique about it is it's a 3-inch CD, so it's a little one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And so the songs are Brown Santa, Holy Shit, and Little Drummer Boy. But I find it every year for $1.99, and every year I sell it for about $15. So, and because I use a service that I keeps all my listings, when I find one this year, because I haven't found one yet, I'll just hit relist. No work involved. So, it sells. So if you ever see this little 3-inch CD, pick it up.
I shall look out.
All right. We've talked about this CD quite often. It is Garth Brooks' attempt at it to be a rock star named Chris Gaines. I found a sealed one for $10. It was listed on Amazon for maybe 2 weeks, and it sold for $55. So if you haven't found the Chris Gaines CDs yet, you should find them, especially sealed. All right. How about a Queen one song single with 2 versions $74. This is why I yell at you to look at the music.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
so what the deal is on this one, the album version of These Are the Days of Our Lives is the version we all know. This edit version is not a version you can readily get anywhere. And so when people want these other versions of the songs, they will happily pay big money. In this case, $74 plus shipping to Italy.
No cover on that.
No cover. So it was a promo released with just back artwork.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Yeah.
And then Queensryche, and this will show up in a later segment. This is a DVD audio. It's music still, but it is not played in CD players. It is played in DVD players. It is surround sound. So if you have a 5.1 stereo, it'll envelop you in the music. I paid $9 whole for it, and it sold for $100. Oh, and someone says, was that the hologram Garth cover? No, that was the regular cover. So there's two covers to that one, a hologram one and a regular. That was just a regular cover. So as you can see, Chris, I want you to find these so you can make crazy money on.
I'm going to try what I'm going to do a proper day. I said to you before, I'm going to do a proper day. I'm going to go out and you know what? I'm going to take your tips on CDs and stuff. I'm going to visit some record shops and see what I can find.
All right. I can't wait for that. All right, wait.
That's a whole new video.
Are we missing? Are we forgetting something?
Hey, wait! Hold up! Don't forget about me!
Whoops! Now it's time for Stacy's Budget Bin Scores. And this week, Stacy's Budget Bin score is Engelberg Humperdinck. Found it for $3 in the budget bin, and the magic of Christmas with a really bad Photoshop sold for $15. And that's kind of Stacy's average. She pulls things out of the $1, $2, or $3 bin, and her average is about $15. So again, if you can have someone help you in your business, and that's what we're talking about today, it definitely helps your bottom line. But not everything's good. And now it's time for our duds of the week. Do not let our mistakes be yours.
Yeah. Now, I thought I'd put these on because I know you've bought a big load of VHSs recently.
Yep.
I watched the video. But these are the VHSs you probably shouldn't bother with. Now, these cost me nothing. And it was more, this is actually my advert to get rid of them. So this isn't when I bought them. I picked up a job lot of VHSs from Facebook Marketplace. It was completely free. It didn't cost me anything. So from that point of view, is it really a dud? I don't know. But I did sell off like the best ones out of it. So I made some money out of it. And the rest I were relisting and relisting and relisting. And they weren't shifting. So I decided, you know what, I'm going to clear these out. These are taking up space in my house, in my stock room. And I put them on Facebook Marketplace. There was mostly Disney and some James Bond stuff. And I could not give them away for free. 5 times people said they were coming for them and they didn't turn up. And this was free. This is free. And in the end, someone did come and they actually only lived around the corner, like 2 streets away from me. So most of this stuff, like Disney VHSs, just standard VHS, not even worth your time.
Yep. Yeah, that is crazy. I'm sure when I get to the bottom of mine, I will find all the ones that aren't worth our time either.
Oh no, Jason, you're so disappointed in me with this one, aren't you?
You could just send that to Nevada and save yourself a headache.
You know what? I didn't even think about it. I wish I'd have done it. I'm gutted. Right, here's the story with this. I did make a video on it. Right. So I bought this circus sign at a boot sale for £15. And I found one that had sold on eBay for £50. So other than that, I couldn't find anything. So I copied their listing and listed it. And it sold for £59, full price, $59.98. But it went GSP to the USA, to you guys. It went to New York. But what happened was the guy who bought it, he was an expert on circus stuff. And he has his own booth. You know, one of these booths in a big in a big markety type place indoors, and they have little booths of people selling businesses and stuff. He had a booth and he sold circus stuff, and he said, "This is not vintage. This is a reproduction, and it's not worth anywhere near that money. I want to return it." So then you get the dreaded GSP return item not as described, which means you've got to foot the bill to get that back.
Yeah.
And after a bit of research, and I actually messaged Jason to ask him what the best shipping method was, USA to UK. I think it's pirate ship, isn't it? Mostly. Yep. So I signed up with pirate ship. This is a long-winded story. I do apologize. I signed up with pirate ship. I did it in his name so that it could be shipped from him to me. But the package was a tiny bit too big for the low rate package, which meant it was going to be $45 to get it back to me.
See, you should just have him send it to me. I would have paid for all that.
I know that now.
If you find this
in
again.
the end, I said to him, wonder if keywords creepy clowns. Maybe. In the end, I said to him, look, just keep it, and I'll write it off. At the end of the day, it was £15 plus local shipping for me, so it wasn't too bad. And he said he was a nice guy. He said, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to try and sell it in my booth, and I'll send you the money if it sells. I mean, what a nice thing to say.
Oh yeah,
or to do for someone. And he, true to his word, a couple of weeks later, he messaged me and said, I've sold it. He got $22 for it. And he said, how can I send it? How can I send you the money? And I said, don't bother. It's all right. eBay don't like you swapping information like that. So I'm not going to risk it. Just donate it to your local charity. And he donated it to a hospice where his mum and dad had been when they died. So it all ended nicely.
Yeah, it did. In that case, I'm glad I didn't get it because, it ended up being something even greater than just me putting another creepy clown on my wall.
It ended nicely. But I wish part of me wishes I had sent it to you.
So one of my duds is pay attention when you're sending out offers. This offer should have been $90, not $9. And of course, they jumped on it right away because this is a $90 tiki mug. But I explained my fat fingerness to them. I made them an offer, not $9, but I did make them an offer. They first said, yeah, and they said, nah, don't bother, but just fine, go ahead and cancel. So at least they were nice about it. But yeah, when you go to send that offer, don't just be doing it when you wake up first thing in the morning. Look at your screen and make sure you're sending the correct offer. All right, Chris, I bought these and I thought people would dig them. Nathan's Hot Dog is who sponsors the hot dog eating contest every 4th of July here. And I found not one, which I listed on February 28th of 2020, but 3 different Nathan's Hot Dogs bags. And I'm like, oh, someone will love these. No one has loved them ever. So if you're looking for a Nathan's Hot Dog backpack or crossbody bag, Tiki Pug Music, come offer me a couple bucks. I will cut you a deal because no one wants them.
It's hot dog eating contest. Where is that held again, Jason?
Coney Island in New York. New York City.
They do eat a lot of hot dogs in New York, don't they?
Oh, yes. And now it's time for Where in the World Did Our Stuff Go? If you are not shipping internationally, you are leaving out 7.3 billion with a B potential customers.
Oh, sorry. I was reading the comments. Sorry. Where in the world? Right. Okay. So this German Olympics jacket, it was a really nice jacket, actually. Quite unusual. Actually went to this Yamanoni in Japan. And it went via GSP because I only really use GSP unless somebody asked me. And the jacket sold for £40 and they paid £28 on GSP to get it to Japan. So yeah, there you go, Japan.
So a guy in the UK found a German jacket and went to Japan. That's why we do this segment, because you never know where your stuff's going to go. All right. This one tickled me for 2 reasons, because A, go away, spam call. I love when something goes back home. Kylie Minogue is an Australian singer. So it's going back to her, to a little suburb called Yellborough. But what I loved about it is that town has 170 people. Talk about small. But someone a couple nights ago in a town of 170 said, you know what I need from Jason? I need a $30 Kylie Minogue promo CD single, and I'll pay $15 for shipping. That's why we tell you to ship worldwide, because you never know. I mean, look, this came from Australia and went back to Australia. It's been on a tour. It's seen a lot of shit in its day.
Definitely.
And now it's time for You Have Got to Be Shipping Me. What to do and what not to do when it comes to shipping. All right, Debbie makes graphics, and then we see if the co-host can remember what their tip is.
Oh, no. Let me have a look at my thing. Oh, I know. I know what this is.
It's a fun game. We didn't set it up that way, but it became a fun game.
Okay. Right. So when I moved to this house where I'm in now last year, I put a note round to all the neighbors, and I explained what I did. I said, I've got an eBay shop, introduced ourselves. We're at number 8, come and say hello. But also, if you happen to have any boxes, bubble wrap, or packaging, or newspapers, I know you don't like newspapers in your packaging, but we do use it a lot in the UK. Please just send them our way rather than put them in the recycling bin, because I can recycle them and use them again. And what I get now is, and it still happens now, this is 18 months ago when we moved here, probably 2 or 3 times a week, I open my front door and I've got a pile of packaging on the front door.
Nice.
So free packaging, and it's great. And when we move in a few weeks, I'm going to have to do it all over again.
Hi, I'm Chris. I will be taking all your boxes.
Yes.
All right. So you saw these posters earlier. Now, when I walked in the office today, teenager was going to ship them, but man, was she making it more complicated than it had to be. And she was starting to craft a box and stuff. And I'm like, hey, where'd these come from originally? She said, a record. I'm like, all right, so let's ship it back in a record mailer. So what we did is we took the posters, we took the 2 square pieces of cardboard that we use one of to shore up every record we ship. We put them together, taped just, small piece of tape on all 4 sides. And then just in case of bad weather, we slid it in a poly mailer and taped it all down nice and tight. And then into a record mailer, because that's the shape they are. They came out of a record. And then boom, thumbs up. So don't overthink things sometimes. She was already cutting and trying to craft. I go, whoa. We can do this real easy. Just do it in a record mailer. Easy peasy.
She's probably worried because of the value of it.
She was, but again, I always try and tell her, work harder, work smarter, not harder. We already have, boxes ready to go for records. This came out of a record, therefore, i.e., just go in a record box. And she goes, oh yeah, that was much easier than I was trying to craft. I go, yes. So if we got the box, just use it. And now it's time for the Thrifty Tips of the Week. Little tips and tricks to help you out when you're outsourcing.
Is this another one of mine?
Oh, yes.
Get organized. What is this? Oh, yeah, excuse. This is probably an obvious one, right? But I am still a victim of this, right? Because I've got too much stock to go back, without it taking me a week to do it. But I wish that I'd have started off how I meant to go on, and started using box numbers and putting those numbers in the SKU section of your eBay listing, so that you could just pick and pack really easily. I still don't use it to this day, but I should do. What I currently use is like categories now. So if I have t-shirts, I have small, medium, large, extra large, and I use it that way. But it would be much better to have box numbers. And if I'd have done that from the very start, life would have been a lot easier. Now I've got 2,000 listings. It's much harder to go back and rectify that.
Yep. Yeah. Sometimes you got to stop and back up. And
I might have to. When I move, I might do.
All right. I've talked about this before. I'm going to talk about it again. If you think antique stores and antique malls and antique markets only have antiques, you're wrong. They mostly do. But in, where was it? Bozeman, Montana, the outskirts of Bozeman. Bozeman's about this big. So the outskirts are about that big. We walked into this, Americana type antique market, but in one booth, the guy had a whole ton of DVD audios. And this is the one I just showed you, sold for $100. He only charged $9 because to him, he can only charge $9 to the customers that would walk in from Bozeman, Montana. But me, I sell to the world. I can charge $100. So if you're driving past, walking past, see an antique store, stop in there. There's always music, always, and there's always stuff that shouldn't be in there that really isn't antiques. So you'll never know what you'll find, even in the outskirts of Bozeman, Montana. And that's all I got to say about that. And now it's time for our online selling tips of the week. It doesn't matter if you're selling on Etsy, Depop, Mercari, Poshmark, or eBay. These are little tips and tricks to help you when you're selling.
Okay. Right.
Your new procedures.
Yeah.
I even know the tip because I watched your video.
Yeah. So yeah, this is something new that I've started doing recently. Now, I always used to do after a period of time, whether it be 4 months, 6 months, a while ago it was 12 months. I used to do this. I used to keep an item listed for 12 months. I don't do that anymore. But I used to always end and sell similar and refresh and start a new listing. But now what I do is I call it optimizing, and I instead of selling similar, I change the price and leave the listing up. I know that sounds like a simple thing, but what happens when you just change the prices? Everybody who's shown any real interest in that item during its time that's been on, whether they are watching it, whether they've had it in their cart, or even looked at it, I think in some cases, they'll get a message from eBay saying the seller has reduced the price on this. It is now £3 cheaper at 20% cheaper. And that might encourage the sale. So that is actually, in my book, that's better than actually ending the item, selling similar, and starting again. So I kind of went a step further with this, and I brought this system in now. And basically, after 3 months of an item being listed, I reduced the price. So everyone gets a notification, price has been reduced, opportunity to buy. After 5 months, I'll reduce the price again, just a little bit more. And then after 6 months of it being listed, I put it on a 7-day auction. Having a middle store like I have now, you get 300 auctions or so. So I might as well use those. And so I reduce the price again at a starting price. If it doesn't sell on auction, it goes back on as sell similar, starts from the beginning, but at a cheaper price. And eventually, you shouldn't really end up with an item going through 2 cycles. It should have sold by the time, because it's been reduced in price that much. It sounds complicated, but it's not. And it's important, if you're going to do a system like that, is that you track it using that SKU box. What I do is I put a date in the SKU box of when it was last changed, and then that allows you to keep track of your dates.
That's the thing you got to be diligent about. I do that I pull things from Amazon and move them to eBay and Discogs, and I should be keeping track. And then if they don't sell on Discogs, I'm like, did I put it on eBay already? I don't remember. So yeah, you got to stay diligent when you're doing stuff like this. I mean, it's for your own good.
Yeah.
Sometimes we don't stay diligent. All right. I'm not a fan of live models, except for in certain occasions. Chris is what I would call a normal size human being. I am not a normal size human being. And I'm kind of a freak because although I'm 6'5", my height's in my torso, not in my legs. And so my torso is longer than it should be, where my legs are shorter than they should be. And so when I picked up this awesome leather jacket for $10, I'm like, all right, I got to put it on because it fit me nice through the body and the sleeves were exactly perfect. However, it's too short for me, at least. I don't like my jacket short. So in my description, I am very specific. I said, the model, that's me, is 6'5" and 285 pounds. The body fits and the arms fit. I should have said sleeves. But for 6'5", the jacket is a tad too short. I was very specific. That way, another big fella will not be surprised. He'll understand exactly how this jacket is supposed to fit. For normal size clothes, if you're a normal size human, don't need to do that. But when you're a freak of nature like me, it helps the other person who looks like me decide if they should buy it or not. So there's that rare time.
I did it once with a jacket, Jason, but it still hasn't sold, so I'm guessing I'm not doing it again.
You know, maybe we're about to talk to the cute other half of you. Maybe she should wear it. See?
Maybe. Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Yes.
It was for Depop, though. There's different rules on Depop.
There's rules. I don't pay attention to rules. All right, a couple more quick things. And now it's time for Unseasonably Sold. What did you sell out of season? Debbie, my producer, said he sold these in August.
Yeah. I did note she did put a note in saying if it's October to December, there's no Christmas. Yeah, these were August, so basically 2 reindeers. I think they're both Build-A-Bears. I'm not sure what the second one is. What's the second one?
Yep, Build-A-Bear also.
Both Build-A-Bears. Fairly low value stuff, but these are really Christmas toys, I guess. But yeah, sold in August. So people, I mean, if I could have gone back a bit further in my listings, I sold some stuff in June that were clearly Christmas, Santa outfits and stuff. So yeah, I'm with you on this thing about just list stuff all year round. I don't wait to list anything.
See, there's Ginny. Ginny's our resident Christmas expert. She sold a chocolate Easter Bunny figure last week. That's what we're talking about.
Yeah.
That's what we're talking about. All right. I didn't have any this week. So our last segment of the day before we get to our guest is sometimes they're funny, sometimes they're angry, and sometimes they're just plain weird. Now it's time for the feedback of the week. This is great, dude. This is epic.
Yeah, I sold this pretty low value t-shirt really, but it's a nice bit of feedback. And you know what I've noticed recently, I don't know if you've noticed the same or if the people in the chat have, is that people are really making use of these extra characters that they can use when they do feedback. So yeah, this one said, "Thank you so much for this beautiful, gorgeous Chris Brown," and she almost copied the title there.
Yeah,
I'm glad it got. I'm glad I got it in large. Great black t-shirt. Chris Brown is absolutely stunning with excellent music, even though I prefer his music from the 2000s and 2010s. He should be a clothes model. He is very, very, very beautifully handsome. I mean, Jesus, do I need all that?
I was going to say, of all the feedbacks we have shared, that is now one of my all-time favorites because that's a lot of personal info from that buyer. Woo!
Yeah, I mean, really.
Mine's a little nutty in a little bit different way. She's unhappy with the size compared to other ones. Like, I don't have anything to do with that. Thank you. Dress runs slightly small compared to others of the same size, but good value for the price. Like, that's a review you would go put on the Be Slim website, not the Tiki Pug Music website. I just sold to you and shipped it to you. I'm not Be Slim. I am definitely not Be Slim. I'll tell you that much right now. All right. So this is where we usually do a little bit of what's coming up. So Chris, go ahead and get our guest in here. I'm going to take you off the screen for a second there. And that way they change chairs like Stacy and I do. So when he told me he had to do that, I'm like, oh, I fully understand. When Stacy and I did a show last week, because she's so much smaller than me, I know what that is all about. All right. So if you're in the thrifting board, and I see we got a ton of people who follow Chris. Hello, everyone from across the pond. I have a free Facebook group for thrifters and resellers of all sizes. It is called the Thrifting Board. So come on over. We just added our 60,000th member. And the 60th anniversary is the Diamond. And this is Diamond Beach in Iceland. And in the Thrifting Board, we have an entire beach theme. So we have an amazing amount of awesome thrifters and resellers of all shapes, sizes, new, old, and everything in between. Also, I'm insane, so I thought I would challenge myself and everybody else. 17 days before Thanksgiving, I said I'm going to list 1,000 new items, but I'm doing pretty good. I'm at 200 by day 3, so I'm doing pretty good. I'm 1/5 of the way there on day 3. So I think I will make it, but I wanted everyone to really push themselves to get more things listed for the upcoming holiday season. So everyone has jumped in and started doing that. And So if you missed last Sunday's show, where usually it's me and my mom wasn't here because she was at a football game. Stacy and I did our travel vlog of our trip to Montana, the quest for Montana mermaids. Got a lot of great feedback from that. So thank you everybody for watching. If you haven't seen that yet, it's fun. And we shared our pictures and trials and tribulations of our travels and where to find mermaids and tiki bars and all kinds of other stuff. And then coming up on Sunday, Mom has decided she's doing good on records and CDs and cassettes. She decides she needs to do 8 tracks now. So we're going to go through the 8 tracks she purchased, and we will talk about 8 tracks in general and what you should be looking for. And then next week, and this won't matter to the UK guests who are watching, but to the American guests, everyone in these other Facebook groups is freaking out because the new threshold for reporting income and where you would get a 1099K for your taxes is $600. The amount of resellers who on social media have admitted to not paying taxes is mystifyingly boggling my mind. Well, I got to pay taxes now. You had to pay taxes from $1. But to help everyone understand better, we have our resident CPA, Anna Hill, who does this for a living, who loves numbers, who loves changes, who loves reading about this. She will answer any and all your questions, even in that regards to the 600 threshold. That's where we're going to start. But if you have other questions, she is happy to answer them. But we have to do a special night because Anna is always about continuing education. She has a class on Thursdays. So next week, Thrifty Business will be on Wednesday night, our normal time, 8 o'clock East Coast, 5 o'clock West Coast. But for those of you who fret and fume over doing your taxes and are freaked out by this new threshold doesn't change anything for any of us because you should have been paying taxes the whole time. So if you haven't, she will give you some tips and tricks on what to do to get yourself correct. Okay? So yeah, Anna has come on quite a bit. She's been on this show. She's done webinars in my secret beach. She loves what she does. Her and I are great friends, and we have spent time in Europe together. So it should be a great, great show. All right, let's get our guest in here, and let me get this all set up. All right, here we go. And now it's time for the Thrifty Business special guest of the week. Hey, I did it. I have a hard time pulling that off sometimes. All right. Our guest this week is Annabelle, otherwise known as Bargain Bell. How are you?
I'm all right. Thank you very much.
Thanks for staying up late.
I was going to say this is way past my bedtime.
All right. Now, this is the mug I have matched up to you. And I asked everyone to figure out why this mug is matched up to Annabelle. And here's the reason. This mug is actually not this tall. It is only this tall. So it's kind of a short drink. But hidden in the base is a bell when you want another drink.
Ah, so it's short and it's
so
got
you
a bell.
shake the bell like, I need another drink over here. So there you go. My one mug with a bell in it is why I have it for you tonight.
Everybody had zero chance of guessing that.
Oh no, not at all. Not on this one. But there you go.
I just thought we were going with a short bit.
Debbie likes that. A mug with, they made a lot of mugs in the 70s that you could blow a whistle. Like, I need another beer, and then you would blow the whistle on the mug. So this is kind of like the tiki version of that.
Very
and
cool.
how annoying would that be? A bunch of drunk bar patrons blowing whistles at you. Hey, give me another beer. All right. So the one thing we want to talk about tonight is spouses supporting their spouse. Now, we talked about, the tag for us tonight is your non-thrifting spouse supporting you in your thrifting business, your eBay business. But it really goes for any job you have in life, because if you have a career where your significant other isn't keen on it, doesn't really support you, what do you do? And so I've watched Chris and Annabelle kind of grow up in terms of YouTube from the beginning to now. And I see them doing some of the same things and going through some of the same things that I went through, that Stacy and I go through. And so it is very nice to see a supportive spouse, because Chris drags Annabelle to go to the boot sales quite often to buy stuff. But then, like most of us, when we have too much stuff that isn't selling, we take it to a garage sale, or in Chris's case, a car boot sale. And then Annabelle's got to be up early to set up before dawn. So let me ask you. Let's start there. The first time Chris said, "Hey, we're going to sell at a boot sale," what was your reaction?
The first time I was probably looking forward to it until I realised that getting up at 4 is not fun. And being cramped in the car, literally, it's like you're only small, you only need this much space because we need to pack the car.
Yeah.
And you
I
kind
not thought of that.
you're kind of stuffed in a corner while he's driving. And yeah, by the end of it, and I'm pretty sure that first one, I had some foreign guy who kept coming up, translating on his phone and asking me out as well, which was kind of, and that was while he kept wandering off because I get left on the stall and he goes wandering off buying stuff. So yeah. After that, I was kind of a little bit like, yeah, it's not as much fun as I thought it was going to be.
For people in the chat, like in the US, when most car boot sales here in the UK, it's for some unknown reason, none of us know why, but they start at a ridiculous time in the morning. It's totally uncalled for. No one gets it. So sometimes you have to get up at 4 a.m., get to a boot sale to set up at 5 to sell. Even to buy, you need to be there at pretty much the same time as well as when people are getting
sometimes there. Sometimes you pack in the car at 4 because depending where you live, you do not want to leave your car overnight loaded with stuff.
Well, yeah, there is that. Yeah, and so sometimes you can actually, and I've done a couple of videos where I'm at a boot sale, it's dark, I have a torch on my head looking for stuff. It's just... No one understands. I still don't understand to this day why we have to have boot sales at 5 in the morning.
Yeah, here, like estate sales have been starting at like 8 or 9, and I'm like, yay.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't line up. Well, I want to point out real quick, this is Tubular Bells, and this was not here as another nod to Annabelle. I was shooting some videos for selling CDs that I'll be using later. So I just needed a little bit of a background to hide this extra monitor. And so I just popped that up there because it's a very graphic thing and very widely known. So yes, subliminally, another bell.
Just everywhere.
You know, there's been some nighttime flea markets. You know, there's these things called punk rock flea markets here in the US. I've been to a few. I haven't been to one lately. They kind of aim more towards like the stuff that Chris sells, a lot of pop culture things and music and stuff, and not so much antiques. And sometimes they have them at night. And so there's this whole like kind of party vibe around it. I so wish there was more of that than getting up at 4 a.m. All right. So Chris, what was your prior real job?
Well,
which one?
Yeah, I've had quite a few, but I know most people know me because I was a police officer for 13 years. So yeah, it was a bit of a change, but I did have a job in between there as well for a couple of years. I worked for a hospice in the UK. So I was an event organizer, but I was actually part-time eBay while I was a police officer towards the end of my career there. And then I was part-time whilst working at a hospice, and then I went full-time and left.
And can I just point out while we're on Chris's jobs, there's a trend here with the supportive partner, because when we first met, when he was a police officer, I was his PCSO. So I was.
They won't know what that is.
I was a police community support officer. It's a role within the UK police, which is below a police officer. So he was technically my boss.
She was underneath me, basically.
So he was giving me orders and bossing me around then. And then when he was at the charity, I became a volunteer so that I could then support all his events that he set up. And if he needed extra people, I would be drafted in on my days off to help out. There's a bit of a trend.
I'm not thought of it like that, to be honest. You are very supportive.
I am.
So when he said, "Hey, honey, I think I want to quit traditional jobs and just do reselling full time," what'd you say to that?
I'm always fully behind anything he wants to do, but I do dig my heels in, and I have dug my heels in over time. Not that it makes any difference, where I do try to stand my ground and go, "This is your job. This is my job. I'll help, but it's your job." And bit by bit, he just pulls me in.
But what did you think when I said I'm going to quit my job and be a reseller?
Oh, right.
I think that was what Jason asked.
Yeah.
It wasn't so much I'm going to quit my job, was it? It was, I'd spent 5 years with you building up being a part-time reseller. So it was kind of already there and sort of in the background. And it was just more of it was a gradual sort of build up to him going full time. So it's not like he just turned around to me one day and was like, I'm going reselling full time. You know, it was a discussion that we had on multiple occasions, wasn't it? And if it sounds really sad, this, but I trust Chris 100%. And if he tells me that if something's going to work, I'm 100% behind him, because I know he's not daring enough to do something if he doesn't think that he's covered every angle of what could go wrong. So
yeah, and I see that about Chris. You know, I'm very much like, I'm very much here, hold my beer, I'm gonna go jump off the roof and see what happens, you know. But Chris seems very much more calculated. And I wanted to talk about this, and we've talked about this kind of subject before. And plus, I have a very supportive wife who pushed me. I was miserable at my real job, and then I got the infection in my arm, and she kept saying, you have to quit your job. And I'm like, I can't quit my job. She goes, you have to quit. You are miserable. I'm like, I can't quit. And so I finally did. And because of that, we're hanging out. We became friends. So if I hadn't quit that job, we would have never met. And so my life is so much richer, and not in terms of money, but in terms of the people I have met, the friends I have from becoming a full-time reseller, and then realizing I had a gift to teach and to broadcast and do everything else. And so thank God she pushed me to quit that job. And even more so, thank God I got an infection in my arm that kind of really pushed me to get rid of that job that I hated, because I sat in the hospital for 5 days and thought, I got to fix my life. Like, I hate waking up every morning. I just don't like it. And so luckily my wife was so supportive. She was pushing me to
there was obviously an aspect with Chris where you'd got to a point where you really weren't happy in your last job. But I wouldn't necessarily say like Stacey did. I didn't push him towards his reselling. It was something that was, because it had always been in the background, and something that we'd had discussions on multiple occasions on different opportunities to do our own businesses in one way or another. So it wasn't like a complete sort of surprise. But I think I've just always, the thing with Chris is, if he mentions something more than once, I know it's a serious idea. If he says the same thing more than once, I'm like, right, okay, something's gonna materialize out of this. So then how can I support you with that sort of person, rather than, okay, go do it? Because I know Chris is very methodical, and he has to work out exactly how he wants to do stuff before he will go in that direction. I don't think I could push you in any direction.
Probably not. No.
He'd probably have a meltdown if I pushed him.
Yeah. No, I have to figure it out for myself.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of resellers, and maybe some people in the chat will agree with this, is when they take that moment, when that moment comes that they decide to go full-time reselling, there's usually something in the background, like maybe in their day job that isn't quite right. They've got a boss that's a bit of a dick, or something, they're not happy in work. There's normally a pushing point. There's a tipping point, isn't there? I think that makes you think, you know what, stuff it, I'm going to have a go. And I reckon most of the chat, or most resellers, might have had that point. And I had that sort of experience where I thought, you know what, I'm almost there. I'm just going to do it.
There's, I think, a point in everyone's life where you realize is we get one try at this turn around the world, around the sun, and we got to figure out how, when it's over, to smile, like, yeah, I did it all. And so if you get stuck in that mundane job that's just soul sucking, you got to figure out something else. And so it's great that Annabelle supports Chris. It's obviously awesome that Stacey supports me. Like Bill and Debbie do it together. But what about those that don't get that support? Because I see that a little bit in my group and a lot in other groups where there's people going, my spouse hates me selling on eBay. And I'm like, have you shown them the money you make? And maybe it's not high dollar, but the percentage from buying something from a nickel and selling it for $10, it's pretty good. And I always feel bad for those people. They seem to be stuck in a marriage or a partnership that isn't the best. if their spouse is like, I hate what you do for a living. Like that's just, I feel bad for those people. So I think you got to grab that person by the ears and go, look, this is my job. And this is what puts food on the table or whatever.
Be in a relationship with somebody who is a reseller and not support it in some way, because it takes up so much of your life that if you don't accept it and you don't sort of take on board what that job role is, then that's going to put a massive wedge between people.
But surely if somebody said, well, I'm paying half the bills and reselling is paying half the bills, so surely you should be happy with that.
Well, you would think that, Chris, but I've got a friend who their spouse, it doesn't matter that they're paying half the bills. Their spouse is like, I want you to go get a real job.
Right.
See, somebody's put a comment there. My spouse is supportive but hates watching YouTube reselling shows. All right,
Nicole, him and I we're gonna talk.
This is not uncommon news to people, but I don't like watching. It doesn't interest me watching reselling YouTube programs. It's just not something that I want to spend my pastime doing. So I am honest and open with that. As much as we do our YouTube channel,
you don't watch much.
I don't watch much other reselling stuff because I have other pastimes that I want to do and use my spare time.
That hurts my heart.
You got a life.
So, but I'm glad you brought that up, because not only is Chris a reseller, Chris is also a YouTuber. Let me pop that up right now. Cookie and the Haydens. And so, all right. So you're all good with his occupation change. When he started to pull you into doing YouTube videos and stuff like that, how'd you feel about that?
The same way I feel about it now. I still dig my heels in.
But you do it though. I see you.
She doesn't like doing any videos on her own. She won't do it. I mean, she had to...
No, I have done it.
Yeah,
but I don't like it.
Yeah, but she got a £5 super chat a few weeks ago to do a video, and she had to do it then because she got a £5 super chat. So she did it, but she weren't happy about it. Just to answer, Mark said, "How long have I been a full-time reseller?" And I think it's about 2 to 3 years now, full-time, and then another 3 years before that part-time.
October 2019 is when you started.
So that's just over 2 years. Just over 2 years full-time.
So here's the other part of that YouTube thing. Chris has become. I said it before, very famous, because I watch your videos and people approach you in every single video and go, Scarborough Chris.
They do approach a lot. People do. It's probably not. It's not as much as what you think.
The most we've had was last weekend. When we were selling last weekend, we had so many people come up and speak to Cookie more than anything.
They just want to talk to the dog.
Yeah, your dog is adorable. So
it's nice though. I do like it. I do get some satisfaction from it because it just everybody's really positive about it. No one, well, I say no one. We have had one negative, but I'll talk about that later. But most people are like, "Oh, it's great to see you, great to meet you." You know,
when you get people saying, "Oh, we've come this week because we knew you were going to be here," and it's a bit like.
Last week we were selling, and I think I put out on Instagram, or I might have mentioned it on the live show, that we're going to be doing this car boot. We're actually selling, and one couple came and said, "We're only here because you said you were going to be here, so we come to say hello." I'm like, "Wow! I mean, really, you come down just to say hello?" And it's
we
like
had that guy that time wanted a selfie with you, and
he
was taking selfies and ringing his
Annabelle,
wife.
have you been the picture taker where someone said, "Can you take a picture of me and Chris?"
Have you done the picture taker?
No, I don't think
you might have done it once.
I don't think I have. I think because people recognise me from the channel as well, so they tend to just speak to both of us. I think people tend to find me more approachable. I've had a few people who have come and said hello to me and gone, "I have seen Chris, but he's like in the zone, so I don't want to disturb him." And
are you saying I'm not approachable?
I just think you just don't come across.
No, you give free haircuts.
No. Yeah, from me. That's another way of supporting.
I haven't been approached in a little while, but Stacy and I got chased down at Disneyland last week.
Really?
We are coming out of Star Wars Land, and we were in the zone hustling to whatever ride was next on our daily, rides of Disney. And I can't remember if we heard "Hey" or "Hold on a minute" or "Jason" or whatever. And I turned around and just a woman I didn't know, and she goes, "I love you guys on YouTube. I love when you guys do things together. Can I take a picture with you?" I was just telling my sister, I saw you guys get off the ride. I'm like, sure. So that was the first time I've been chased down in the amusement park. So that was, to me, I love that part of it. When I was on TV, I've had people who didn't want to approach me. Like you said, you're in the zone. And I thoroughly enjoyed the fact that you saw me on YouTube or TV or whatever, and you took what I talked about and you made some money or helped yourself in some way, and you want to say hi and thanks. I love that. That's the only part of making TV that I liked, because
we do
it's not
encourage
fun.
people. We do encourage people when we're on the show to say, if they see us out and about, to say hello, because we get so many people that will see us, and then on the Monday night show we'll put in the chat, "Oh, I did see you on Sunday, but I didn't want to come and say hi." And it's like, really, just come say hello. We're just normal. It's not like, we don't see ourselves as anything else other than just two normal people, so we're happy. I think, to be fair, the weirdest one I've had, and it wasn't even from one of the reselling ones that we do on a Monday, it was a video that Chris put out during lockdown last year of the local walks in the area, like dog walks that you can do. And I was in the field walking the dog the other week, and some guy came up to me and he was like, "Are you that woman that's on that dog walking video with Modbury?" And I was like,
I was in Savers here in Vegas with some friends from Chicago, and I've told the story a few times. And I could swear a dude was taking my picture, but trying to do it on the sly, like he was doing like this. And he was really short, and I kept approaching him without saying anything to try and look, and he would always hide his phone. So I didn't think anything of it. So I go about shopping, and then like a couple days later, my friend Tony messaged me and goes, "Hey, was a little Asian man taking pictures of you a couple days ago in a thrift store in Vegas?" I said, "Yes, I thought so." And I said, "Wait, how'd you know that?" Because Tony lives like in Midwest somewhere. He goes, "That was my husband. He was too shy to approach you to say hi. So he took sneaky photos," and he sent me the photos. I was with my friends and we were having fun, and we were riding bicycles in the store, just having a blast. Every picture I look like this. But that wasn't my demeanor that day at all. And I'm like, I would have posed for a picture with him. I'm like, just don't say hi.
That would, to be honest, Jason, that would be me, right? And I'll tell you a little story, right? Because I don't like asking anyone for a photo or anything, or even saying hello to a celebrity, right? But there's a particular, there's a celebrity that I'm a fan of, and I don't know.
And here's where she's not supportive. Oh no.
I think he spends a lot of time in the US. I don't know if you know him, but he's pals with Ricky Gervais, but he's called Stephen Merchant.
I don't know him.
You know Stephen Merchant?
He's about 7 foot tall. He's
tall,
huge,
googly eyes.
Oh, yes, I know who he is.
Steve Merchant, yeah. Right, he's pretty famous in the UK, like, for comedy and stuff. And
he's a tall effer. He's a big dude.
Yeah, he's very tall. But we saw him. He was walking in a town.
Sorry.
That's it, Steve Merchant. Stephen, I love everything that he does, right? Him and Ricky Gervais, I'm a big fan. And he was walking with his missus in a local town near to us. I think he might have been on holiday or seen his parents or something. And I spotted him. And I was like to Belle, I was like, "There's Steve Merchant. He's walking behind us. Don't say anything." Right? So I'm looking behind. And we actually crossed over the road so that we could get a better look rather than looking behind us. And he was walking across the road about 20 yards or whatever across. And I said, "Don't say anything, don't say anything." And you know what she does? She shouts out at him. "What did you say?" You went, Hi, Steve. Love your work." Love your work. I just wanted to die right on the spot.
It's because you put me off. I was building up to saying hello to him, and because you kept telling me no, and then I just
love your work.
I just momentarily just went, "No, I'm going to do it." And then as I went to do it, I realized I hadn't actually thought about what I was going to say. So just kind of went, "Hi, I love your work." like the most awkward thing, and he just awkwardly went.
No, you said it like this. Hi, I love your work.
Yeah.
He's 6'7". He's got a couple inches on me.
Yeah, and he just awkwardly kind of went, and then carried on walking, and we were like, "Oh my
But
god!"
I would never have done that. I would have just carried on walking and just had it in my mind, my memory, that I actually walked past Steve Merchant one day, and that would have been it.
We were sitting in Frankie's, the tiki bar here in Vegas, and hanging out together, in walked Nicolas Cage, Andrew Dice
Cool.
Clay, and Carrot Top.
Nice.
And Debbie was sitting next to me, my friend and producer, and she got up with her phone, and I said, "We don't do that here. Sit down or I'll snap your phone in half." She's like, "Okay." Because a lot of celebrities do hang out at Frankie's and no one ever bothers them. No one. So I don't want the person sitting with me to be the bother one. So
yeah, I would be the same. Just don't you dare do that.
yeah.
Don't you
Now
dare.
I'll do that other places. I
We did
definitely
that
won't
when
do
we
it at
was in the
Frankie's.
place in Manchester when him off no likey, no lighty.
Oh yeah, you won't know him. A guy called Paddy McGuinness.
Paddy McGuinness.
He's quite a famous comedian, like from Manchester.
We saw him in a shop, and
He
I
was
was
in a
like, "Oh,
shop.
I'm gonna go say hello," and he was
I
like,
was
"Don't
like,
you dare! Don't
come
you
on."
dare!"
No way. No
Stacey
way.
runs into Flavor Flav all the time at Target and the grocery store because he lives near us, and she always takes sneaky pictures, but she's never said hi to him. All right, we got a couple of questions for Chris. Chris, what's the most favorite item you've ever sold? And you remember the first item you ever sold?
Oh, I can't remember the first item because when we started, we were doing like gift packs of movie stuff, movie related items. So we'd have like movie figures. Say for example, a Freddy Krueger NECA figure, and we'd put DVDs with it. And we'd put it in a nice gift package and sell it together. That's what we used to do when we first started. But I can't remember what the first thing I would have sold. But what's the best thing I've sold?
I don't know. What's the best thing you've ever sold? To be fair, if it was something he liked, it wouldn't have been sold. It'll be on our shelf.
Yeah,
because he keeps everything that he likes.
I mean, I had a really nice sale of a motorcycle helmet. I went through a bit of a phase of picking up motorcycle helmets because they had one good sale, and then I got I better look for some more of those. But I bought a BMW graphite, I think it was graphite or something like that, helmet. And I think I paid £10 or £12 for it. And I got about...
You can tell the people that watch us regularly. They've told you what it is that Chris always resorts to.
Tori, you spoiled it. I think
is Tori one of your admins on your channel?
What, sorry?
Is Tori an admin on your channel?
Yeah, yes. She is, yeah.
Tori's one of our biggest fans. She's lovely.
She knows the stories before you even tell them.
Yeah, she knows them.
Yeah. And Oliver Ian's got your
not the Steve Merchant story again. He's still in counseling from Bell chasing.
I didn't technically chase him. We were just still walking in the same direction, so we had to follow him.
It was quite awkward because you go your own separate way then, and then because of the little streets in the town where we were, we ended up almost sort of like back together on the same street. Awkward.
I've never been told I sound like Tony Robbins, but I'm not offended. I'm not sure why anyone would be offended by that, but nope, not offended. Someone else had another question. Oh, what's the most expensive thing you sold?
That pretty much goes back to the helmet, Olympic jacket.
I always, at the moment, I've got 3 of the most expensive things that I haven't managed to top yet. I had a USA, funnily enough, I had a USA Olympic podium jacket that I sold. That only cost me like £4. I think we got about $250 or $300 for it. I sold the BMW helmet, which cost me 10 or 12, and I got about $300 for that. But also, I bought a stacking system of hi-fi with speakers as well, which cost me £50. But instead of selling it all together, I split it, and by the time I split it all, I got £550 back for it. So that was a nice one.
Mr. Big Deals digging out of profits says, I feel any new reseller could learn so much from Chris and Bell. They've inspired me on a few occasions and can see in their videos make people reach out and want to say hello. Hello.
He's missed the part where he says that they only ever watch us as well just to find out what antics are going to go on a Monday. It always reaches gutter level.
It does.
And Debbie said, she goes, that was an amazing night. And that I was meaner than that. I said I would snap your phone in half. I don't think I was any meaner than that. I said, sit down or I'll snap your phone in half.
Did you growl while he said it?
You know, I have sat next to Billy Gibbons from ZZ Top many, many times at Frankie's. I've helped his wife play video poker. I've been a ZZ Top fan since I was a little kid. I've never once said a word to him about being a fan. But the other bearded member of ZZ Top, Dusty Hill, just died. And next time I'm sitting next to Billy, I think I am going to say, hey, thanks for all the great music over the years. Just because you never know. You never know when someone's going to die. And I'm like, you know what? Screw it. I'm going to tell him thanks. Just thanks for the good music.
Yeah, why not?
Oh, thanks, Todd. Yeah, I am a big dude. It's funny because I'm trying to interview people for a new someone to work for me. And when we meet at a local Starbucks to make it, easy for both of us and not feeling weird for the other person. I go, I'm the big dude with the bushy beard and the tattoos, but I'm a teddy bear. So I'm like, here's what I look like, but don't be afraid.
Yeah, I can relate to that from the first time we met you in that very dark and tiki bar.
Oh, I said I'd
in the middle of nowhere.
When we were going to meet you that day in Vegas, where we were on our honeymoon, and you said, "Oh, just meet us at Frankie's, this little tiki bar." And we started off, we were going to walk there, and then we realized it was quite far. So we got like an Uber or something.
No, we got a taxi.
We got a taxi.
And it was a dodgy taxi.
Very dodgy, yeah. And Belle started saying to me, so what do we know about this Jason? What do we know about him? I've seen a picture of him, and is he going to be like an axe murderer or something?
That's been told to me. So people, after I become friends with them, they said, that day you picked us up in Vegas, we went thrifting. We gave all our friends your description, your phone number, your license plate, and where we were going, just in case you killed us. I'm like, do I really get that vibe?
That's harsh, isn't it? That's harsh.
So the UK contingent that has showed up tonight, thank you all for joining us. Some of the American contingent might not know this, but Chris and Annabelle are a little bit famous from their wedding. So when you're done watching us live, go Google Walking Dead wedding, and you will see them. There you go. That's a badass wedding.
Yeah. I mean, it was very cool, and we've been in quite a lot of press with that now, and we're still getting requests, aren't we, to be in magazines and stuff like that. And it's good. We've almost paid for the wedding, the amount of money we've had from that.
I am biased, but it was a pretty good day.
Look, I think we had the best wedding ever, but then I see your pictures. I'm like, ooh, I think they're giving us a run for our money, honey. Hey, Steph, how are you? So has there ever been a time, Annabelle, where Chris has done something in either reselling or YouTube and you just went, nope?
Yeah, all the time.
Good.
All the time.
Like what?
He's constantly doing stuff where I'm rolling my eyes, shaking my head and going, I'm having no part of that.
When I bring home big fluffy things.
You mean what about the weekend when we pulled up and there was 3 giant bales of clothes sat on the doorstep?
Oh, yeah.
Oh!
That happens a lot.
Yeah, do tell.
I just say, well, to be fair, I just say nothing. I don't even say anything anymore because I just think, do you know what? Just crack on with it. And then I'm sat in the living room. I put a picture up on Instagram with a quote underneath, being the wife of a reseller. Well, I'm sat in my little living room and he's got boxes all over the floor and he's going through them all and there's just clothes everywhere. And I'm just like, just don't look. Just don't look.
What about when I brought home a massive rubber bear teddy that's like
he brought
4
a
foot
4-foot reindeer home that sat in the house for months.
And there's my supportive spouse. Yep, pick your battles.
Yeah, 3-foot Tasmanian devil. So hi Stacey. So yeah, there's lots of stuff he does that I just roll my eyes and go, yeah, I'm having no part of that, and I just let him crack on with it because it's either that or you fall out.
So the one way to for resellers, the one way to get your spouse a little bit interested if you're having that hiccup, and someone had mentioned it way earlier in the chat, is if you can show them how they can help contribute and actually show them monetary figures of it. So Stacy would always go with me to record stores, but at the 20-minute mark, no matter where I was, even if I couldn't see her, I could feel her face glaze over and be like, it's time to go. But then one day I had an idea and I said, all right, I got an idea. So I worked really hard and I printed out a list of like 150 CDs that are out of print, worth good money, and relatively easy to find. And I broke it down by section and alphabetical. So she would go to the soul R&B section, go to Prince, and look for these three things. And so with a treasure map in her hand, she quite enjoyed the time in the record store and enjoyed it even more. If she found like $100 CD for $2, then she was like, okay, this entertains me. This is good. And so you've got to find that angle that if your spouse isn't interested and or gives you a hard time, if you can show them the worth in them, helping you, but don't abuse it. Well, Stacey and I travel. We do some thrifting and some CD shopping, but I don't do it to the point where she wants to kill me. I don't think.
I think the thing with us is I accept 99.9% of the reselling life, and I have minimal ground rules for us to survive without killing each other. And one of them is he does not take over the living space. Our living room is our living room. So that's when he pushes his luck, when he's emptying bales in my living room. And I'm like, it better not be there for long. And it's still there 2 days later.
Stacey said once I gave her the list, it sucked less. Look, she's good. Now when we get to record stores, she knows her sections. She's just off and running. She's got her her phone out. She's off to the budget section, so she knows what to do. But she also realizes, as a smart woman, the quicker we can find a bunch of stuff together, the quicker we get out of there and onto something else. So to
be fair, I quite enjoy the sourcing anyway. I enjoy the sourcing. The sourcing doesn't bother me.
Oh, and the one thing I want to say about the two of you, especially Chris, if you have not subscribed to their channel, please go do so. Cookie and the Haydens. You're going to get a flavor of my mother. And some people don't like to haggle. Chris almost never pays the price that they're asking. And so Chris does a lot of his video of him at boot sales. He's got his phone just right here recording. And so only once did I hear him go, oh, well, I'm just going to pay that. It's so cheap.
Yeah. That is true.
I still cringe at that.
She doesn't like to haggle. I tend to haggle, although I don't 100% draw the line, but I kind of draw the line if it's a child selling it.
No, you do not, you liar. You liar. You will still haggle with a child. You tell me it's a learning curve for them.
Okay. I have in the past. I have. But sometimes if it's a pound, I'll just pay it. And
yeah, I mean, my mom has went to, something that's been an amazing deal, like $3 that's worth $200, and she'll be like, take $1. I won't even do that. I mean, she does that all the time. I'm like, hey, yeah, $3. So Santa Claus says, question for Annabelle: what do you want for Christmas? Asking for a friend.
Ooh. What do you want for Christmas, dear?
Even you can't get this answer out of me, can you?
I've been asking it for weeks. Go on, what do you want?
Do you know I'm really sad? Do you know the only thing I've said I want a decent eye mask, one of them that's got the headphoney bits so that you can play your music and sleep properly with no light.
That sounds that sounds one of the, like a gift that you use once and it gathers dust under the bed. You know what though, Jason, right? Talking about sort of ways to get your spouses sort of on board. I think when I was part-time, I would like to think that being able to use some of the money you earn as a part-time as spare cash in your life, like going on holiday, and I paid for us to go to Barbados on reselling money without having to touch any of our full-time wages. being able to do that for somebody, I think that helps them understand that actually, you know, this isn't so bad. We get to go on a nice holiday for nothing.
Kept you part time then, shouldn't they? Because it's not happening now.
Well, we're only just out of lockdown.
No, that is a nice perk. It is a nice perk when you can see the extra cash come in. Definitely.
Yeah, when Stacey and I went to try and find mermaids in Montana that ended up not being there. Spoiler alert. I had been selling on all my platforms, but on Mercari, I decided not to touch the money through the whole summer. I wanted to see how much would sell in Mercari, and I was hoping for $1,000. I ended up with like 1,600 at the end of summer. And so I said, honey, here's our spending cash for our 10-day trip that, you know, was me saving it up on one platform. I didn't need it for bills. Everything else was being paid for by eBay and Amazon, all the bigger ones. But boom, here's $1,600 that I just kind of set to the side because of my sales on Mercari. And so, yeah, you know, we had a big bill come due on some credit cards, and I've been sitting on some really rare and expensive tiki mugs. And I said, now's the time to sell them. They've gone up in value since the day I bought them. Some have went from $100 to $800, and I'm like, now's the time to unload them. And she goes, I love you. That was so sexy that you wanted to pay the bill and get the. I'm like, yeah, I sat on those mugs waiting for the right time, and we need to pay this big credit card bill, and now's the time. And they're all way up in value, so let me unload them, and
that's good.
I'll make some money.
Nicola's got it right. She says, I haggle and bundle. I bundle all the time.
When
I'm at a boot sale, if I pick something up I like, quite often when you're at a table looking at something, if you find one thing, there's a fairly good chance you might find another thing. I don't know why, because maybe they've got stuff that you like, but same kind of stuff. So I always say, right, I've got this one. I'm going to have that. Let me just see what else you've got. And I'll go along, I'll pick up 3 or 4 items. Okay, what can you do on those 4? And then you get further discount, hopefully. So bundling is definitely, I love doing a good bundle.
And Chris does something that I've never seen anyone else do that I quite like, is your Russian nesting dolls bag situation.
Oh,
bag in a bag in a bag in a bag.
Yes. Because a lot of us in the UK, we use trolleys. Well, I have had a trolley in the past. People take trolleys to car boots. Nah, I couldn't be bothered with it. So now I have like the reusable bags that you get from the big supermarkets, and you put one inside another, and as you fill the first one, you take that out, and then you fill the next one and take that out. So yeah, that's what I do.
I like it. I like a man who's always thinking about, you know, how can my car boot sales be smoother and better?
Easier. Yeah.
But the one thing I get angry at watching your videos is your car boot sales are fun and full of good stuff. And we don't have, you know, car boots to us are like flea markets.
Yeah.
In Vegas, we don't have flea markets. We have one swap meet that's mainly oranges, tube socks, and canaries, and just a little bit of used stuff. So it's really not all that good. And so we don't have any of that stuff. So I see your car boot sales every week, and I'm like, look at all that fun stuff. And then I get angry because you walk past a stack of CDs and you don't even look twice at it. And you're digging through all this stuff next to it. And I'm like yelling at the screen going, just turn to your right. There's CDs there. Just turn to your right.
Yeah. I do. Because the thing with the CDs is without the knowledge, you've got to scan it. So the scanning takes a bit of time. And I kind of worry that because it's not my first go-to item, CDs, I worry that I'll spend too much time. See you, Stacey. I worry that I'll spend too much time looking at something that's not my first go-to and then miss out on my priority items. But I'm determined, and I said it to you before we came on, that I'm going to spend a day following your I've watched your CD webinars and your tape webinars, your cassette webinars, and I'm going to go to some record shops. There's a couple in near us that I've seen. There might be some in Torquay when we move, and I'm going to spend some time in there, and I'm going to go through the place. I'm going to rinse it and see what I can find.
I love it. And I said, look, if you get a chance, because I've seen you in car boots, both when you're just shopping and when you're selling, you make that first pass and then you're like, I'm going to go again. And so that's when I want you to look at the music. When you make that second pass, just to make sure.
I could do that. Yeah. Yeah,
because you got a nice iPhone and your recording is very clear and nice. And I'm like, just once, I want you to just, even if you don't buy nothing, flip through the CDs on camera, whether you put it in your video or just send it to me. I'll tell you if there was any good ones, because I'm good at it. I mean, I've been doing it for 22 years, so I can go in an instant. That was good. That was shit. That was good. And so I want to see in those car boots, are there good things, or is it all just, middle of the road crap that sold millions? But I want to see if there's some gems. Like, look, an $80 Queen promo CD single with just 2 cuts on it. That's the kind of stuff that I want you to find and make money off of. In fact, I want all of you to find and make money.
I'm pretty sure you're more likely to find hearsay.
I was just, he doesn't know who hearsay is. But what you tend to see at the car boots CD wise is like Robbie Williams and Oasis and stuff like that. Yeah. Pretty standard stuff. That's why I tend to overlook them when you see those. But yeah, I need to look closer at them, definitely.
I don't think you find half as many CDs anymore. I think because as they've slowly been fading CDs out. At one point, when you used to go to a car boot, there would be boxes full of CDs, whereas now you just get the odd sort of person who's managed to find a stack at the bottom of a cupboard that they've had for years that they've decided to get rid of. But
at the moment, you see stacks of DVDs at car boot sales, absolutely rafts of them. You could have a whole table full of DVDs. And I think about, 5 years ago, you might have seen that with CDs, but I don't think you see them as much as you do now. I don't know.
But I see them in your videos. I yell scream every single time. Chris, look down. Look down, Chris. I see
I'm not looking for them. That's the thing. And if you're not looking for them, you don't see them.
All right. So Chris and Annabelle are just the most amazing couple. I love them to death. Give them a big old thumbs up, please. And hey, all of the new viewers that Chris brought in, thank you all for coming in. Please subscribe. Normally, I do this show in the U.S. at 8:00 p.m. East Coast time. So that's 2 a.m. to you guys, or 4 a.m. or something. So middle of the night. I don't expect you to watch live, but, watch after the fact, because a lot of the stuff I do talk about and do teach about definitely doesn't matter where you live. Some of the shipping tips won't mean anything to you guys in the UK, but the things that I find, Burberry pants, $100 Queen's Reich DVD audios, those things you can find too. So, please subscribe. Tons of great stuff. And I do host a show Sundays with my mom, normally, who is 78 years old, and she kills it on eBay. Her and my dad, who's also 78, they make about $2,000 a month doing this part-time.
Oh, that's madness.
Part-time.
How old's my mum?
78.
Yeah, I think she's a similar age. I can't imagine her doing it.
We've just about got her using Facebook.
Yeah, she's only just mastered Facebook. So that is amazing, that she does that.
I got my dad taking pictures with my mom's iPhone now. Got him away from the old camera. So, I mean, they're killing it. And they're my benchmark, not because they're dumb or rubes or anything, but they're country. We grew up in the country. My mom rode a horse to her friend's house when she was 16. That was her. She didn't get a car. She got a horse, and we did not grow up in the 1800s. Okay. So we're country. We're very much country people. And I figure if they can do it, anyone can do it. So when people say I can't, I don't get this, I don't know how, I say BS. Not everyone's a natural at it. I think I am. I think Chris is. But with skill and with watching people like Chris, like me, you can learn things. And even if you don't learn anything else, if you find like 7 things you learned and just focus on those 7, you can make some extra money. You might not do it full time like Chris and me, but if you could throw an extra $100 in your pocket every week, wouldn't you?
Yeah, absolutely. So do you think how long do you think you'll be thrifting for, Jason?
Oh, forever. I mean, my mom took me, my first memory was I was at a flea market at 6 years old. And so, and my wife doesn't hate thrifting. I mean, she likes when we go to vintage shops and stuff like that. She loves hunting for things from like the 60s and early 70s. And so I think we will always do that even as we grow older. We love finding treasures, the kind of stuff that we would keep, tiki stuff for our house, or cool like 1960s lamps for our house. That the kind of stuff. Like, she won't be digging just t-shirts and jeans with me for the rest of our lives, but we will be hunting for those cool things that we want to keep even after we kind of retire from working.
Yeah.
Yeah. And pay for vacation. We took both parents to Kauai as a thank you for giving birth to us. And don't ever do that, starters. But we stopped at a couple garage sales as we were leaving the resort to go do Hawaii things. And I ended up finding about $500 worth of CDs on that vacation, just in about 20 minutes tops. Like we would stop at a garage sale for 5 minutes, the next day, 5 minutes. And I found enough that I paid for $500, for part of that vacation. So you can do it. Just got to make sure that if your spouse doesn't love what you do, you don't dominate the vacation with that. That's the key. You got to find that happy medium, because next thing you know, your wife's face is glazed over and they're like,
to be honest with you, we were thrifting on our honeymoon in America, and every time we go to the States, we go thrifting. We buy an extra. We take an empty bag going, and then we pay for that bag to come back. And yeah, but you love it. We love when we get to somewhere, we go, right, where's the nearest Goodwill? And where's the nearest thrift store? And we go and
we base our tour around it. We kind of work our way from thrift store to thrift store.
You walk in a Goodwill. Like we don't have big charity shops like Goodwills in the UK. They're all small. They're all relatively small, just small shops. You walk in a Goodwill and it is a warehouse. And it's like you could easily spend the entire day going through that place.
Yeah, we had a pretty big one in Atlanta when we were hanging out together. I remember you. I was watching you shoot footage in the plush section.
Yes, yeah, I got some stuff in there.
Yeah. Like you plan your trips around thrift stores, I'm going to start teaching my in-person classes again next year, and they're always planned around where the new tiki bars are. So if you live in a city in the United States where a new tiki bar has shown in the last 2 years, I'll be there soon. Oh, look at that. Rag said we vacationed in Scotland. Hubby golfed. I thrifted. Perfect. See, even if you do have the supportive spouse, you don't have to do everything together. I mean, it's fun when you do, but if you don't want to golf and he don't want to thrift, beautiful. Thrift while he's golfing. I'll see you later at the bar in the resort. All right. Now that life's getting kind of back to normal, any chance you guys are coming over here anytime in the near future?
Hopefully, yes. We're hoping to do a trip back end of next year.
Okay.
So probably like maybe September, October next year. And we're probably going to go Florida again.
Okay.
Probably. I say probably. It's not set in stone because there's so many different places we want to go to. We do want to do. I've got. I don't know really why, but I've got a desire to do a bit of a road trip north to South Carolina, that area. But I think we love Florida so much that we're probably going to do Florida again because we haven't done it for probably about 4 or 5 years now. So
have you been to the Keys?
Probably to go back. Sorry, Jason.
Have you been to the Keys, Key West, Key Largo?
We did Key Largo, yeah.
We nearly got killed in Key Largo.
Yeah, I nearly.
All right, so you really haven't. If you only made it to Key Largo, you haven't seen the Keys. You got to get to Key West. That's where the party is.
We didn't make it to Key West. No.
He tried to leave.
Well, let's make a date
on a one-way road. So we ended up in a Mustang, a hired Mustang, going down an embankment onto a footpath just to get out of the way of the truck that was hurtling towards us. So
that wasn't good.
Yeah, but we only did it because we were driving to Miami, weren't we?
Yeah,
we were driving from Florida to Miami, so we just called in and tried to get killed at the same time in Key Largo.
All right, so yeah, if you guys are gonna do that, maybe we make a little play date in Key West for a couple of days.
Yeah,
that's our second city, our second home. Really, Stacey and I've been there probably 27 times. So we know Key West very well, and we could have a blast. But we are coming to Europe hopefully next year too. So we might teach our twice in a year. That'd be fun.
Definitely, yeah. Why not?
All right, everybody. Thank you very much for tuning in. Thank you for all you from across the pond tuning in. Good to see everybody. I'm glad you enjoyed, had a good time. Give Annabelle and Chris a big old thumbs up, please. And like I said, subscribe if you haven't yet. And for those who are American and have not seen Chris and Annabelle before, subscribe to them too. Find Cookie and the Haydens and check out their videos. Chris finds a lot of pop culture stuff. And so if you don't have that pop culture knowledge, toys and t-shirts and things, Chris definitely, that's kind of his specialty. and you'll get a lot of knowledge. So please give them a subscription. And that's it. Thanks, guys.
Well, thanks for having us. It's been a good one. Good show. Enjoyed
nice
it.
To chat to
Enjoyed
you
it
as
a lot.
always.
Yeah, good to catch up. And I'll see everyone on Sunday with my mom at the normal time. And don't forget, next week, we're going to be on Wednesday instead of Thursday. And we're going to make sure you all are paying your taxes. Not that we want to, but because remember this, the mobsters that went to jail, they never went to jail because they got proven that they killed somebody. They went to jail for tax evasion. Okay. Always keep that in mind. Always keep that in mind. So we're going to make sure everyone's correct next week. So bring all your accounting questions for Anna next Wednesday night, 8 o'clock East Coast, 5 o'clock West Coast. And with that, we're out of here. Thanks, everybody. Have
See you,
a
everyone.
wonderful day.